Hi guys. So here we have our integers tic-tac-toe pre-test, and we are going to take a look at some things that you learned in 7th grade. You learned the concept or the idea of adding and subtracting positive and negative numbers, known as integers. Some of you learned it on a number line. Some of us can now do it in our head. Either way, you're going to learn the integer rules and be able to make a connection now between the 7th grade concepts and the 8th grade integer rules and put it all together. So the first thing you're going to want to do is, in your handy dandy, go ahead and open it up and you'll find your integer rules in there. We're going to focus on these first two right here where it says two like signs and two unlike signs. So I'm going to put this off to the side for just 1 second. And up here at the top, I'm going to write two like, and I'm going to write two unlike, just as sentence starters and reminders. And these are going to be for adding problems. So you'll notice on this first one, it's a subtraction. So you could do the number line strategy or any other one that you have to come up with your answer. And then we're going to double check it and run it through using the integer rules, which this will be integer rule number 3. The idea here is that it's usually easier to add things than it is subtract. So we're going to change this to an addition problem so we can use these rules. But you can't just change that to a plus unless you do something to the following number. So the integer rule says if a number is followed by a minus sign, which in this case it is, if a number is followed by a minus sign, change the minus to a plus, find the inverse, that means opposite, of the following number, then use rule 1 or 2. You can go ahead and circle your adding. We see it's an adding problem, and now we have two choices over here. Are they like sign or unlike sign? This is a positive 2, this is a positive 3. So they're alike. The integer rule says two like signs, we're going to add and keep the sign positive. Okay, moving on to the next one. Again, it's subtract. Let's make it an addition problem so we can use one of those. If a number, right here, is followed by a minus sign, change the minus to a plus, find the inverse of the following number, then use rule 1 or 2. It's an adding problem again. And you'll get so used to saying these rules will be stuck in your head. You'll have them memorized soon. So now these are alike, so we can do two like signs, add, and keep the sign. Come over here. We have another addition problem. One's negative and one's positive, so they're two unlike. That one says two unlike signs, subtract the smaller from the larger when you're ignoring signs. So basically you're covering everything up except the numbers, just so that you can ignore the signs. It says two unlike signs, subtract the smaller from the larger, ignoring signs, and then it says keep the sign of the larger. So if I'm ignoring signs, the one that's bigger, is it 324 or 21? It's 324 and its sign is positive, so this would then be positive. Rules for multiplying and dividing are a little different. This is a division symbol, so a negative and a negative make a positive. This is multiplying. A negative and a positive make a negative. This means multiplying also. A negative and a positive make a negative. Dividing, a negative and a positive make a negative. And this one we're back to adding. They're two like signs. So two like signs. Add and keep the sign. Negative 345. And then down here is where you're going to explain how you did this, what your strategy was. To include, you could do a drawing to explain, like if you used a number line. And that is your integers tic-tac-toe.